yesterday, big press conference, 2:00 yesterday afternoon with folks from the City of Roswell and our friends from the USL. Early Roswell resident Justin Papadakis, who is Deputy Chief Executive Officer and the Chief Real Estate Officer. So Deputy CEO, Chief Real Estate Officer. There's a lot of initials in there in alphabet soup. But Justin Papadakis, City of Roswell, Mayor Kurt Miller, they had a press conference, a Q&A about something that's happening over the next little bit in the City of Roswell. Hanging out with us now is the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Roswell, and he is post-5 council member Mayor Pro Tem, William Morthland. Mayor Morthland, thanks for hanging out with us here on the morning show.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing all right. Thanks for doing this, especially on short notice and a quick turn. But now that you have had, the sum total of, 9:30, so I'm trying to subtract, say 16 and a half hours to digest what happened yesterday with the City of Roswell and with the USL. What do you think?
It's fantastic. It is fantastic. We had a great day yesterday. This was the culmination of probably a little bit over a year worth of fantastic work that the city, along with the United Soccer League, has put together in identifying how Roswell can fit a very, very nice niche for them. And they approached the City of Roswell and said, what do you think about doing this? This is a great idea. This is a crazy idea. Would y'all be accepting of this idea? And it grew, and we were off to the races. We are thrilled to be welcoming with open arms the USL to Roswell. This is going to be amazing. But the big thing that is really going to set us apart here is we are putting a focus on the women's game. This is going to be a stadium and economic benefit to a certain area, which has not been identified yet, but we are going to be putting all the resources that we need into identifying the highest and best use of real estate here in Roswell to build a preeminent women's-centric soccer stadium. And that is part of a mixed-use development opportunity. The economics and the possibilities that are going to grow from this, it's something that Roswell's never seen before. That is just the excitement that is building. The phone has been ringing off the hook for the past, as you say, 16 and a half hours. And we are all spread thin. The mayor is triple booked. Other council members are double booked. Economic development is all over the place. We are rolling. This is a fantastic announcement from the City of Roswell in conjunction with the United States Soccer League.
So the USL came to the City of Roswell to sit there and say, hey, we've got an idea.
We've got an idea. And that is where any idea can either grow or fall off the side. When they came with the idea, we said, yeah, let's foster this idea. Let's grow this idea. Let's incubate this idea. How can we push this forward? Because we are certainly interested in doing this. This new idea, and I hate to call it a new idea, but this push for the women's side of things is what is going to make us a different marketplace. We are absolutely in the market for the men's soccer as well. No question about that. But this is front and center women's game.
When it comes to the place where the live, work, play environment is being sought after inside the City of Roswell, and this is something that the USL has had as one of their cornerstones for development, especially in their men's leagues, where in Statesboro, Georgia, you have the live, work, play idea being developed. You had the same thing in East Ridge, Tennessee with their Chattanooga franchise. We had a lot of our private eyes that listen and watch the show yesterday as we were walking through the announcement, sitting there saying, now, okay, so here's the city limits of Roswell, and here's where it might be able to work, and it might be able to work here. And I had some ideas. How many different sites are we looking at? And this is inside the city limits proper, or is this like in Milton, or what are we staring at here for number of sites?
This is absolutely within the city limits of Roswell.
Got it.
have not nailed down, but we have many opportunities in many places that we're looking at. Do we have a number? Several would be the number at this point, and I've been given very clear guidance that needs to be where we settle that question. But
Absolutely.
Is this a dream? Is this a hope and a dream, and we're just going to throw it up and see if it works? No, we've done a lot more due diligence on this. We would not be in this place with this announcement if we had not done all the work that has gotten us to this point. So we are committed. We are serious. The USL is serious. And just seeing the twinkle in Justin's eye yesterday was something that, you just can't replicate that anywhere else. He is very proud. He is a Roswell resident. He is very proud to be bringing this home.
I was going to say, when you got a Horseshoe Bend guy who wants to bring an idea of live, work, play back home, that adds a different dimension and probably an acceleration of purpose, because right now it's a letter of intent to New Year's Eve, and it can be extended after that. It seems like the USL is profoundly motivated, is probably the best way that I can describe it, especially with a Horseshoe Bend resident, a guy who grew up in Horseshoe Bend, and Justin Papadakis, that was a part of this discussion.
To use the word profound would be exactly what Roswell would be as well. Okay. I would say USL is profound in this. Roswell is equal. We are welcoming. This is a great marriage. We are welcoming one another with open arms. I know that sounds kind of corny and cliche, but again, back to my prior statement, we would not be in this situation if we have not done the due diligence to make sure that this is an idea that not only is going to work, but is going to be successful.
William Morthland, Post 5 council member, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Roswell, and he is also the liaison to community development and economic development, and having that on the business card also helps out this discussion. When it comes to Roswell and it being an economic driver up Georgia 400 and spreading across both sides, because as we explain this to listeners outside the footprint and viewers outside the footprint, Georgia 400 is like, if you look at a map of the city of Atlanta and you have Interstate 285, and then you have Georgia 400, which basically goes from the center of the clock right up through 12 noon. Yep. You're going right up to Roswell and in that area. For those that aren't necessarily as familiar with Roswell and how things have gone economically and in a development sense over, say, the last 5 years, how has Roswell grown to be able to be confident that you can have this 8,000 to 15,000 live, work, play stadium situation available to you that you can handle?
So the stadium that we're running with is going to be a 10,000 seat stadium with the accelerant of being able to expand to 15. And getting back to the original question, how can we handle this? Mm-hmm. The economics, the household median income here in Roswell will certainly be able to do this, along with the neighboring areas that will be funneling into the Roswell area for game days, not just game days, but all the things that come with this economic driver. Roswell has a map that has exclusive rights over the team. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be a map that extends from a little bit south of Roswell to the east, to the west, to the north. So we are having the exclusive rights to what we're looking to do with this team, not only the teams and the live, work, play development area. We are just working this through right now.
Yeah. So when it comes to, so this sounds like it's Sandy Springs to Milton to Cobb County and over. I mean, unless I'm talking in a very, very short idea when it comes to the geographic footprint that you're attached to. How much of a soccer fan or how much of fans of the sport is the city council coming in and the mayor coming in? How much of a soccer fan were you folks as a group before this discussion even started with Justin and the USL?
Very much so. The mayor, some of our personal stories. The mayor was a high school soccer player way back in the early days during the Huntsville, Alabama, early days of soccer first coming to the South.
Yep.
He was a very, very fast player. He was a football player. He was a boxer in the Army. But, and I share that with you to say he was an athlete. When soccer first originated within his high school and they were starting the team, he was, piddling around with the idea of playing football another year. But the soccer coach saw how fast he was. And so he put him as a striker. Mayor Wilson didn't know anything about being a striker. And the coach just said, look, Kurt, this is all I need you to do. We're going to kick the ball down the field. We want you to run onto the ball, grab the ball, and just dribble it towards the goal. If it goes in, once you dribble to the goal, make a shot, dribble around the keeper, whatever you need to do, score. And apparently, the story that I've been told is he was a league-leading scorer because of his fast pace and his ethic to really see that through. Mm-hmm. Other council members, me personally, I grew up playing soccer myself in a rural town in Selma, Alabama, but Selma capped out at 8th grade. We no longer had a soccer program. And I transitioned my soccer skills into playing football and was place kicker for the high school teams.
There you go.
And went on to college to kick for UAB. I was at University of Alabama from 98 to 2003, as I was always the backup kicker. I never could make that jump into the number one guy. There was always that guy that
you couldn't get Coach Brown to sit there and say, "Hey, put me in."
Watson, I was pulling on Watson's shirt tail for about 5 years there. But no, the reason I share that with you is because while I was at UAB doing football, I met my wife. My wife was on the women's soccer team at UAB. And she was there from, I believe it was 2000 to 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. And, I got a really good appreciation for the women's game after watching her and seeing all the things that the women's team do. And that's where I truly got an appreciation for the toughness that they bring to the game. The women, when they play the game, they play the game. If they get fouled, they're getting up. They're not rolling around making a big Hollywood story out of this, asking for a foul. They're getting up.
Unless you look at the Brazilian team sometimes in international competition, I got the one-liner in. I got the zinger.
Yeah, there you go. You see where I'm going here. But she's thrilled. My children are thrilled. Everybody is thrilled. The other council members, they are just, they're besides themselves seeing this come through, because when this first idea came about, it's one of these, not necessarily crazy ideas, but it's one of these ideas that we're looking at and saying, will this work? Can this work? And as we've put the efforts into it, and it has become known that, yeah, this would not only work, but this would set Roswell apart. This would put us on the map as being the preeminent program, and the rest is history. Just, if everybody's excited now, just wait to see what comes.
And I know that in other projects inside USL, 8,000 seat facilities, the Colorado Springs facility, I think, had a price tag of $42 million. I don't know if you guys have gotten into the monetary idea of what the live, work, play will be, and the financing and where the money is going to be coming from and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to the economics of this deal, the City of Roswell is, as of right now, very confident that the LOI that has the end of the calendar year attached to it, that the City of Roswell is confident that something will happen inside its city limits involving the USL and this live, work, play idea. You guys are that confident?
Absolutely confident. Yes, sir.
Okay. Two more questions, because I know that you're in your car and you're sitting there going, I'd like to get my Dunkin' Donuts before 10 o'clock so they don't transition to lunch on me. Infrastructure. And I know that a lot of folks who follow the sport here in the city, and they have issues getting from one part of the planet to the other. It seems like construction is perpetual on 285, and getting on the correct off-ramp to get off 285 to go up 400 sometimes turns into an adventure on a daily basis. When it comes to attracting folks from outside the city of Roswell proper, within the city limits, that isn't Milton or Sandy Springs or Alpharetta or Duluth or East Cobb to get to this particular arena, MARTA only goes so far up the North Line. It gets you to North Springs. You're still, 5 miles shy, I think, of Holcomb Bridge Road.
Right.
When it comes to the infrastructure and all of the roads issues that you would anticipate in the build and access, I guess when it comes to the infrastructure element of this, what is the city anticipating when it comes to the other efforts that have to be made to make this project go and make sure that, you don't have folks on a 2-lane road trying to look like they're going to a rock concert or something, and you've got like nine hours worth of traffic? How does the city feel about addressing this particular element of it?
And that's a really good question. And with such a large project coming through, that is one of the things that needs to be addressed. Some of the numbers that you were putting forward when it comes to state route this and US highway that, Roswell only has purview over certain things, and that is Roswell specific streets. All the numbers that you just named off were either national or state roads.
Got it.
So this is going to be a partnership. We are absolutely going to have to work through the ins and the outs with the partnership with the state of Georgia Department of Transportation, as well as federal, if there's any kind of federal that needs to be done. But that's where we're coming into. We're under the due diligence piece right now with the letter of intent. Yes, letter of intent's been done. Now it's up to us to work with our community partners, such as Georgia Department of Transportation, to put the roadmap together to help the traffic concerns of what you're alluding to. Because as you were starting to talk about the traffic, I just started getting flashbacks. I understand that one. I understand that one. I understand that one. No question about it. But yeah, we're not going to be building this and just putting it somewhere and say, okay, here it is. We have got to do the traffic studies. We've got to do the traffic due diligence on this piece, and it is going to be a community effort when it comes to Georgia Department of Transportation, Fulton County, as well as if there's any kind of federal in there as well.
And my last question for you, and thanks for putting up with us, especially on short notice. When it comes to to-do lists, and this is what I ask of prospective owners and first-year owners of franchises when they come on the show. We all have our to-do list, and I know that you and everyone that is attached to the City of Roswell, you have your to-do list when it comes to this project to make sure that it turns into a successful build. You end up with both franchises and can have this relationship with the USL. We all have them. It could be in a Google Doc. It could be it could be on a calendar like we got from the banks when we were growing up, the big bank calendar that's got all the
Certainly.
dates on it, and you have, the arrows and everything. Or it could be on a big dry erase board inside the City Hall of Roswell in a room that has the lights out that only certain folks can see, kind of like the ACC deed of gift. You need special permission to go into this room and write something down on this list. Where is this to-do list for the City of Roswell? And what do you think the next thing that the City of Roswell can check off of this to-do list as you get to the end of the letter of intent deadline at on New Year's Eve?
Okay, so where's the to-do list?
Where is the to-do list?
And what is the next thing that we have on our to-do list? Is that the question?
That you can check off and say, okay, we can knock this out. We're done. Let's go on to the next thing. So, yeah, where is the big to-do list? And what is the next thing that the City of Roswell thinks it can check off as you get closer and closer to New Year's Eve and the end of the initial deadline for the letter of intent with the USL?
And as I've been coming and going through the meetings, either virtually or in person, the to-do list, I honestly don't know necessarily where the to-do list is located. I'm not aware of there being a dry erase board. I'm not aware of there being a floating around Google document. This has been very much of a conversational piece as I've been involved.
Right
now, sure, there's going to be something that's out there when it comes to this is the next step. And I would feel pretty confident here soon that we're going to be releasing our vision and where the next steps need to be. that glorified big board, I'm not aware of it. I'm sorry.
It's not in the basement of City Hall where
It's
Mayor Miller has a key and he sits there. It's like, okay, here's the magic key card. You know, it's like the golden ticket. You sit there and go, okay, here's the key card. Here's the door. Go in here. You can turn the lights, and you end up with like 5 spotlights on this big 6-foot by 8-foot whiteboard. I didn't know.
It'd be interesting if we had that, but no, I'm not aware of that. Next things that we're going to address and what is our next check off mark would be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would say at this point with this letter of intent that's going out, we're going to start listening from the city's perspective. I can't say anything about the USL because the USL is doing their own thing. But from the city's perspective, the next thing we're going to be doing is listening to our residents and understanding what their concerns would be, understanding their excitement level, you know, really gaining and gathering that feedback from the city's perspective as we are here 16 and a half hours into this announcement. I would say that would be our next thing on our list is really working with our residents to make sure that they understand all the economic benefits that potentially could come from this live work play, as well as, you know, putting a women's and men's soccer team on the map here in Roswell. This is going to be a fantastic thing that's going to continue to leverage our long-term economic development plans for this area.
No
so
doubt
that would be the next thing.
And we will be keeping an eye on it. Mr. Morthland, thanks for hanging out with us, especially, you know, when we rang the bat phone there in the City Hall. It's like we'd like to have someone come on the morning show and break everything down. Thanks for being a good sport about it and picking up the phone. And if there's anything going on, obviously we'll be keeping an eye on what's going on here at SDH. But obviously we'll be reaching out as things continue to grow. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the morning show.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having us. And we look forward to doing this again when we have some more to share. Let's plan on that.
No doubt about it. Open door policy here at SDH. Mr. Morthland, thanks again.
Thank y'all.